Alright, once we get to the lab, the first thing we're going to want to do is turn on the light up here. Then we come over here to the computer. We're going to turn on the computer right here. Once we've done those, we're going to turn on the microscope airbed. We do that by first pressing all three buttons, and then once this blue isolation goes solid, we shut off load adjust. It has since been about 2-3 minutes, and isolation is now solid blue. So because of that, I'm good to turn off load adjust. Because I've waited a few minutes, that means the computer is now fully booted up and ready to go. So I will come up here to the microscope power box and turn it on. With the computer on and running and with the microscope good to go, I will come right over here to Sensoscan. I'll open it up, and the password is SurfLab. It's right here to your right, and I will log in. This usually takes a little while, so I will cut to when it's good to go. Once Sensoscan has opened and there's no big flashing light here in the middle, I'm good to start putting my specimen under the microscope. So, for the purpose of this tutorial, I'll be measuring the surface of this whiteboard eraser. The first thing I want to do is place it right here underneath the green light. Then I take a look at my computer and I see that the object is just completely out of focus. The whole screen is blurry. I can't see a thing. And that's because of how far away the lens is from my sample. It is just too far away and it's impossible for it to focus on it. So to fix that, I'll come out here to this knob right here. What this knob does is it lets me move the head of the microscope up and down. That's really good for large macro movements, which is what we're doing right now. The first thing I do is I will unlock the head by pushing it to the right. Then I twist downwards to move the head down. It's you pull up for going up. And I like to do that until a few things happen. One, my object comes into focus on the computer screen. So I'm starting to see a little bit right now. Or if that doesn't happen, I will wait until the lens is about an inch away from the surface. So on my computer screen right now, I'm starting to see some texture. So that means that the microscope lens is a good distance away from my surface, and I'm ready to move over to just working on the computer. With our surface in place, we're going to transfer over to using the computer and the controller. If you're interested in a guide on what all of these buttons do, check out the microscope guide in the description. With that being said, the first thing I like to do with every new surface is autofocus, auto brightness. What happens here is the computer takes its best guess at what the appropriate brightness and focus is. So this time it did a really good job. You can make out everything here in the image, but it's just a bit too bright for my taste. So I'll turn it down to about here. This is a good spot because I can see into these dark holes and the amount of red isn't overwhelming. It's alright if there's still a bit there. So that is good to go with focus and brightness. Then I'll come over here to the right side. This time we're using a confocal measurement. This is the most common type, the one that we almost always use. And I'm going to do what's called a Z-scan. How the microscope works is it'll set a top height and a bottom height and then take a bunch of pictures on everything in between. That means that everything you want to take a picture of has to be between that top and bottom. So to set my Z-top, I'll first zoom out until the whole screen becomes blurry, like you've crossed your eyes or taken off your glasses. Then I will delete the previous measurement and flag the new one. Once that's done, I will zoom all the way in until it once again becomes out of focus. I'll delete the previous measurement and flag the new one. So this is everything you need to do on this screen. Once your Z top and Z bottom and your brightness have been set, you are good to acquire your image. Alright, let me just delete the previous modifications. So here's what our surface came out as. The first thing I notice immediately is that this side over here is significantly higher than this portion over here. And that's actually because the surface of a whiteboard eraser isn't flat. It's actually at an angle, which we can see here in the surface with this side being much higher than this side. So to counteract that, we'll come over here to form removal and use what's called a polynomial of degree. This just accounts for a slope, and I'll apply that. And this looks much more accurate. A good distribution of high points and low points. No, this side is much higher than this side. So that looks pretty good. My only issue is these little holes are still too dark. To fix that, I'll use a restore. That will fill in these holes. The computer will take a guess at it and fill it in as best it can. And at this point, this measurement looks good to go. So I will first navigate right up here to the Save As file. I'll click it, go to Desktop, and then find Connor Tutorials. When I'm naming my measurements, I like to start with the lens that I used. This time we used the 5, and then the camera type we were using confocal. And lastly, I like to just put in a little description of it, like whiteboard. And that's good to go, and I will save that as a PLUX. That's the type of file you're going to use for mountains and any kind of analysis. But if you were just looking to save the image, you can snip and sketch, or come right here to export image, and that will export this image right here. Or you can export data as an STL if you're looking to 3D print your surface. All very much for watching. If you have any questions, please check out the Microscope guide in the description. It goes much more into depth on things like a guide of the controller, more post-processing tools in Sensofar, and a good guide on troubleshooting. If you liked the video, please drop a like and be sure to comment any suggestions. This is just the first draft, so let me know if there's anything you'd like to see added or anything removed. Thank you very much. My name is Ben Connor Cumming. I hope you enjoyed.